Alrighty everyone, so we got about 21 or so days left until the Ahsoka Tano series debuts on Disney+, something that Disney executives are very worried about. They're very much skeptical about what the fans are going to react to and how they're going to really react to the entire show, given that on the 23rd it debuts with a 2-episode premiere. However, one major development surrounding both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni has a lot to do with a very big update revolving around Star Wars, and specifically mandoverse era projects and what Favreau was able to confirm and admit to in the general sense. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that Jon Favreau is somebody that tries to connect with the fans. He likes to keep them in the loop, and given that Star Wars, let's be honest here, is in a very deep mess right now, a lot of fans have valid reasons for walking away. Kenobi was heavily flawed, and I would go as far to say is that it was a terrible series. It really only had a couple of key moments in there that really resonated, and that was about it. Same exact thing for Boba Fett, really not all that great of a show, but it had some good moments. But when you look at stuff like Mando Season 3, that's when they really hit a brick wall. I mean, that was like the Last Jedi level of fan backlash. A lot of fans just really walked away, gave up on The Mandalorian, unsubscribed from Disney+. Everybody that I knew did not renew their subscription because of that sole reason. So, on top of that, what's interesting is exactly what Favreau was able to talk about when it comes down to the mandoverse and how there's a lot of cancellations happening right now. Let's discuss. Now, with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni working very hard on Star Wars Ahsoka and Mando 4, however, recently Favreau was able to provide fans a big update involving the mandoverse in general and what's going on with the most recent cancellations. Now, he went on to state the following. We have had important conversations with those at Disney on how we can correctly steer this franchise in a different path, and we agreed on several corners of this strategy, so right now I can say that I am ending everything related to our initial plans for what fans like to call the Mandoverse. Our goal is to rework things from the ground up, and we have a massive shift happening right now for the 4th season of Mando and its surrounding spin-off series to that and Ahsoka that we decided to shelve and start fresh and new. Sometimes during these trying times, during the writer's strikes and everything happening with SAG, you have to rethink your strategy, and this is something that Disney was concerned about from the beginning. But we are taking the writer's strike to our full advantage by giving us space to think everything over and start from scratch, and how this Mandoverse is going to be completely reset. Now, that's not to say we are making it non-canon for seasons 1 through 3, but we are really sort of restarting the values and tones/themes of the show, and what the spin-off shows are really going to be all about. Now, let me just stop here quick about what Favreau is putting out there. So, this equals exactly to what we talked about 2 months ago. I don't know if you guys recall, but we were talking about this development that the Bo-Katan series was getting axed, that other spin-off shows related to Ahsoka were getting, pretty much the boot out of Lucasfilm, and it seems like it's all related to what Favreau is saying here. Now, could this also match up with the latest development that's actually out there? There's a lot of talk that Mando Season 4 is going to become a Star Wars movie. Is it possible that what Favreau is saying here equals to that? Who knows? There might be a connection there. Now, the thing about that would actually hurt Disney Plus is if it does become a movie for theaters, that's going to drive fans away from Disney Plus. Because let's face it, Mandoverse, alright, The Mandalorian, is really their driving force for Star Wars fans to head over to Disney Plus. So it would be kind of foolish for Disney to strip that and to throw it in theaters, unless they're making a movie for the streaming service itself, which there have been rumblings before in the past. We talked about this, that they do want to make movies for the platform eventually, be it live action or animated material, it doesn't matter, they want to do that. Could very well have a lot of connections to that as well. So Favreau really coming, clean, that he is canceling everything, that he is ending it all and starting from scratch, and how he's really taking advantage of the writer's strike. Now, what he means by that is, you can't do anything right now. You can't write. You can't really do anything with your projects. Everything's on hold. Everything's on pause. What else are you going to do? Brainstorm and jot down notes and have conversations with Disney on where you want to go. And that's what Jon and Dave are doing right now. So, is it really a waste of time? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what their new slate is going to be like. And we're not even sure if they're going to announce this by this fall, or if it's even going to debut at some kind of event next year. We shall wait and see. Now, on top of that, he elaborates further. We are rethinking which characters deserve and don't deserve spin-off shows, and it's a whole process right now that I think will turn out for the best in the end. Of course, going into something like this, you are always going to be worried. Dave is working very closely with myself as well, and we are effectively establishing everything for the fans that matter most. The ones that grew up with everything that they loved, so in a way, these strikes were sort of a blessing in disguise. It's giving us time to rethink everything all over. And so, for those high up at Disney are the ones that embrace this. Of course, this impacts our upcoming announcements, but we kept a few projects on board to give us some leeway to create that bridge while we rework everything else. So, from what it sounds like is that they created a massive purge, and they only kept a few projects, a handful, like maybe 2, maybe even one of them, not even 3, I should say, and keeping that as a bridge, like he said, to kind of carry things over into their new approach to how the mandoverse is going to be treated by Jon and Dave. I think that this may very well signal that there's a lot of creative differences happening, a lot of problems happening with Star Wars, with the budgeting limitations ever since Indy 5 failed so terribly at the box office. We know that the Disney board and Bob Iger, are settled on really keeping a lot of these projects really limited with their budget and really not moving onwards in that sense of getting more funding, so that could have played a role too. There's a lot of things coming out of this that I think some Star Wars fans should be worried about, but it may and may only have a possibility of being good news. It really is all a matter of how these projects in the end are executed, right? It's way too early to say, and I think it just goes to show you that Disney has got no clue how to handle Star Wars, and people like Jon Favreau specifically are dealing with the fallout. Dave Filoni, we'll have to see how he does with Ahsoka. I mean, if they can't make Ahsoka into a success, I would not be too surprised that this entire quote-unquote, rethinking of a strategy goes to waste and just gets axed as well. So don't be too surprised about that if that comes a reality and actually comes into fruition. So overall, like I said, we got 21 more days until Ahsoka. It's going to be quite interesting to see what the feedback is going to be like for that 2-episode premiere. There's a lot of people that are divided on what they felt with that final trailer, so I would like to hear your take on this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night to moon.